So what is Destiny 2? Destiny 2 is an online-only multiplayer first-person shooter video game developed by Bungie. In this game, you level up, increase your overall light level, which is basically the endgame type of leveling, and find weapons and armor amongst many other things along the way, all while playing a variety of different activities and game modes. As for a story mode or campaign, for those who haven't played Destiny and Destiny 2, here's a quick summary without major spoilers. Hundreds of years ago, Earth was visited by a giant moon-sized sphere called the Traveler. This sphere bestowed gifts of power to select beings, making them Guardians. Later, the Traveler's enemies showed up to wipe us out, and in these games, we are a Guardian who is basically fighting off those enemies. There's a lot more depth than that to the story, and at times it seems like there's so much without complete answers, but that's what helps keep the story moving and creating intrigue, at least for me. Before I get started on specific things to go out and do in Destiny 2, I want to point out that the game is ever-changing. Whether it's from each seasonal event that goes on for a few months at a time, or even the weekly resets and patches that arrive from time to time, something new seems to be happening around every turn. Not always major, but there's always something to help maintain a focus on certain activities. Whether it's chasing new exotic gear that you haven't gotten your hands on yet, or even going for emblems, lore books, and titles. There is so much out there in all different places and in all different activities. I can't possibly cover every single thing, but let me go over some of the core basics. First, let's talk about locations. There are multiple planets and locations out in space that we're able to travel to, and adventures and loot that await us there. From Mars to the Tangled Shore, we get to experience some pretty cool sights and a variety of activities like public events. These are events that anyone in the area can jump into and can require a range of different goals to complete. They normally only take 5 to 10 minutes or so and leave a chest of loot at the end. Nothing too mind-blowing, but definitely something that can be quick and exciting to do, especially if you're in the area. Also, Destiny 2 developers are constantly expanding the places that we can travel to, such as the new location on the moon arriving in September. Well, new to us in Destiny 2, not so new to the players in Destiny 1. Next up, we have Strikes. Strikes are 3-man missions where you can actually queue up with other players to complete them. You basically go through a select location, kind of like a dungeon from other MMORPGs, defeating enemies and eventually taking out a boss at the end for a chest of random generated loot. There are many bounties throughout the game that can call for you to do these strikes, sometimes even very specific ones. Even if it's just for a daily quest, these strikes can be quick and enjoyable with a casual challenge to them. Next, we have Nightfalls. Nightfalls are basically strikes, but they're a more heroic version of them. With Nightfalls, you can create more challenging modifications to the game, and you can't simply queue up for them either. You need to get 2 other people to join you, either from in-game, clans, or the Looking for Group app. You can choose between a list of buffs or debuffs that help change a new score multiplier, and at the end of the run, you get a total score for what you accomplished along with some loot. Each Nightfall also has a unique drop, whether it be a specific weapon or a new vehicle such as a sparrow or a ship. There are also many achievements listed as triumphs associated with these Nightfalls, involving special conditions being met and or certain scores being reached. You can also get your hands on some cool emblems to show off your feats and your score, and even a glowing ornament above your head while wearing an emblem from the Nightfall that you have reached at least 100,000 points in. Next, let's talk about raids. So raids are basically bigger events, similar in spirit to a strike or a Nightfall, but on a much larger scale. They are unique areas, not just a strike or a Nightfall with some changes here and there. They are 6-player activities that require a decent amount of skill, knowledge, and timing to be able to complete each phase successfully. This is one of the areas where the endgame to Destiny 2 lives. These cannot be randomly queued either, so again, you'll need friends, clanmates, or the Looking for Group app. Each raid offers unique drops, and even some exotics that are exclusive within them. Bungie also has events where when a raid first comes out, everybody tries to be the world's first to complete that new raid. So now let's talk about PvP. For those who prefer to take on other players, we have the Crucible. The Crucible is a queuing activity where you have a few different game types to select from. Every day we have the option of Quick Play, a 6-player versus 6-player mode where you can go to casually lay waste to others, rank loss free, and random generated modes such as control point capturing and straight up killing for points. There's also Competitive, where 2 teams of 4 battle it out in a mix of control point capturing, bomb arming and disarming, and survival where each team has a set amount of lives. In Competitive, there's a ranking system where winning matches increases your rank and losing them lowers it. There's also Rumble, a 6-player free-for-all where you simply try to get the most kills to stay in first place. And then there's a weekly rotation of a single game mode, which usually has some special mechanic to it, whether it's breaking open a team's vault or everyone having insanely low super and ability cooldowns. Finally, there are private matches where you can set up specific game modes against specific people. Now it's time for Gambit. Gambit is an activity where players queue up for some 4 vs 4 mayhem. The focus is primarily killing AI enemies with your team, gathering motes of darkness that the enemies drop, and then delivering them to a central bank, while death will cause you to drop what you've collected. Throughout the match, there will be moments where the teams get an opportunity to enter a portal and invade the enemy team. While there, you have a certain amount of time to try and kill off other players and force them to drop the motes that they've been acquiring. Each mote that does get deposited into the bank causes a meter at the top of the screen to fill up, and when the team fills it completely, a Prime Evil will spawn. The team that defeats this boss wins the round or the match. Season 6 has introduced some additional modes to this, such as Gambit Prime and The Reckoning. In Gambit Prime, it's a little more advanced of a Gambit match, with power level coming into play and also some new set armor pieces that give you new buffs for each piece equipped. These pieces drop from The Reckoning, which is a timed horde mode type of event. Other events within the game are some dungeons that involve some strategy and cunning, whether it's figuring out puzzles and defeating bosses, or even jumping puzzles that need to be completed within a time limit. These activities usually involve some exotic quest and some legendary items exclusive to these challenges. And with each season that gets released, there is usually brand new gear and challenges to try out, such as the Black Armory, where you can craft specific weapon types and go create them within the Forge challenges, or the Menagerie from the Season of Opulence, where you can queue up with 5 other people to do a mini raid type of activity and use rune combinations within a chalice to get specific gear drops that you're looking for. Whether it's casual fun you're looking for, or skill-based objectives, there are plenty of options out there for Guardians to enjoy. Many things take some time and effort, but if you put in the work, the payoff can be pretty great in my own opinion. As I like to think of Destiny 2, it's not just about the story, or just about the loot. It's not only about the quests, or only about leveling up. It's about the experiences you have, the friends you make, and the enjoyment brought to you, even if it's only for a few minutes or a few hours. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in Destiny 2.